It is now 6.
Officially 6.
It is now 6 p.m. Good evening and welcome to the Grand Blanc Township Board of Trustee meeting for Tuesday, June 24th. If you'd all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. I'll take the roll. Supervisor Bennett is absent. Of course, I'm here. Treasurer Yancho?
Here.
Trustee Brown?
Here.
Trustee Fike?
Here.
Trustee Hugo?
Here.
Trustee White?
Here.
6 members present, a quorum. Next item, before we move on with the agenda, I need a motion by someone and a support to allow me to continue to preside in Supervisor Bennett's absence. Motion by Hugo.
Second.
Supported by Fike, I believe I saw there. Fike, all right. Trustee White.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
6-0, motion passes. Very good. The next item is the approval of the agenda. Let's see. Forgive me, I'm doing double duty here.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Yancho and supported by Fike. Again, very good, to approve the agenda. Let's see. Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
6-0, motion passes. Now we will have public comment. The public comment period. We have one card turned in. Mr. Christopher Michael, if you wish to speak and address the board, you're welcome to do so.
Thank you all for having me today. And I am here to talk about chickens, like many others. I was here.
So you know you have 3 minutes.
Yep.
Okay.
I was here a few weeks ago, and there was 2 topics being discussed, both regarding chickens. And there was a comment made by you, Mike, saying that there wasn't a one-size-fits-all for Grand Blanc Township. And I partially agree with you, but what I'd like to know is, has there been any consideration with the other cities, villages, townships surrounding Grand Blanc that do allow chickens, Fenton, Holly, a lot of these surrounding areas, to where maybe you look at what they're doing and try to create an ordinance in Grand Blanc that would kind of maybe take a little bit from each one of those villages and come up with your own rules and regulation to allow this to happen for some of the residents here, because I do know my family is very interested in this for a number of reasons, and I know there's a lot of people also in the community that are too. And obviously we want to follow the rule of law or whatever that may be, but for reasons such as sustainability and knowing where your food comes from, I think we all know nowadays a lot of the food in this country is poison, and I try to eat well, and my family tries to eat well, and passing this along to our 2 young boys is very important to us as well, not only for health reasons, but for chores and responsibility and learning to take care of animals. And I feel it's super important to us, and it's something that we want to continue to try to work at, especially since this, I believe this ordinance hasn't been rewritten since '87. That's a very long time. So I just was wondering if you guys if you are willing to consider kind of rewriting the rules based on the communities around us, and thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Very good. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. I need a motion and support for that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Fike, supported by White. Very good. Supported by White on the consent agenda. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Trustee Brown.
Yes.
6-0, Motion passes. Next item, old business, the Strategic Plan 2025 through 28 review regarding community development. Superintendent Limita.
Thank you, Mr. Robertson. As we've been doing every 2 weeks is to try to go through, and again, I wasn't able to stay for the full meeting when you guys did your strategic plan board workshop, so I'm going off the notes that the facilitator Lou Bender provided and trying to capture the goal areas. This is the third one that we presented. There's one more to go after this. And this one was on community development. From what I gathered from the notes, the key objectives and strategies that were brought forward, one was the technology village development, to review the current progress and develop the timeline based on a developer's commitment. Should have that before the board by July. We do have a timeline put together, just that we're still working through with the developer to see if that timeline is going to be realistic, if it's going to go out for bid, because the engineered plans are really, in the initial timeline, had it going out for bid in July of 2025, with it being to put the road and water and sewer mains in late 2025, early 2026. And then also, I think, a review of the DDA TIF plan. We put that together back in 2017. And we discussed last week having a joint meeting with the Planning Commission and the Board of Trustees. And I think it would make sense for you guys to also have a joint meeting with the DDA Board as well. Take a review of that DDA TIF plan, which was very specific on the support that was being offered for that technology village development. It would be new to certainly some of the members of the board, but this to regain the township's commitment and the DDA board's commitment, because there are different individuals serving on both of those entities. Next would be to support a range of housing developments was one of the strategies brought forward. I think also review of the master plan and current and future land use maps are important. Yes, we update our master plan on a regular basis as required by the law, but also we talked last week about having that joint planning commission board meeting, and I think that would be the time to really talk about how well our future land use map and our current plans are for a variety of housing developments. Are we too restrictive? Do we have too much single-family residential, not enough multifamily, vice versa? I think that's a conversation that the board certainly needs to have their voice heard with that planning commission on whether we spent quite a bit of time, 2 years on that last master plan development and update. And it wasn't just a quick update, it was a complete go through and rewrite. And often that doesn't happen when you go through this every 5 to 7 years. But this one was very comprehensive. They held, I don't know how many meetings. There were over 700 participants who weighed in on our zoning ordinances, future land use, that kind of thing. But this board and the planning commission both, again, have some new membership. And is that important? Should we review that and talk about, that strategy? Because I think at the time, a lot of time was spent, but if this came up during your strategic planning sessions, it tells me that there's at least a discussion item that needs to be had about how this board would go about supporting that range of housing developments. And then finally, from the notes I gathered, engaging the Henry Ford Genesis Health Park on development. When it was Ascension Genesis, they had a long-range development plan built in that they had shared with the community for a long time, and what they wanted to do with their outlots. At the then Senator Robertson, our own Clerk Robertson at the time, was very instrumental in securing the funding for the Dort Highway extension, not just for traffic purposes and to relieve some of the pinch points we had, but also as a way to encourage that development at Ascension Genesis Health Park, which they said that road extension would allow them to get those outlots developed. And including, there was plans, I think it was like a huge PhD level R&D building that was planned on the north end of the campus, and then the outbuildings for a variety of retail and kind of health related was their vision. But that stalled, unfortunately, over the last few years, and now with it changing out with Henry Ford, I think it's a great opportunity for this board to establish that relationship with the new hospital personnel, talk about that future planning. Do they still share that same vision that Ascension Genesis had? And then introduce the Henry Ford personnel that's there now as well to our DDA plan, because our DDA encompasses that campus. And while a lot of, nonprofit, we don't bring in taxes off of the hospital, but with those outlots, those kind of things actually would add to the tax base in that area. So the DDA would be willing to not only assist them in their development efforts, but there would be a way to recapture the DDA's assistance to help that pull off. So I think it would be a great opportunity when you're meeting with the DDA, as we talked about under the Tech Village, to also hit on that topic as well. And so hopefully I've captured what your kind of goal was and where you were going based on the notes and meeting minutes that I got from Dr. Bender.
Very good. Questions from board members, if any? Okay, thank you very much, Superintendent Lemata. Appreciate it. Next item is new business, item 7A. The board will consider a motion to award the CDBG project Senior Center exterior door replacement bid to FBH Architectural Security Incorporated for the amount of $21,545.21 and authorize the Township Superintendent to execute any related agreements and contracts. Mr. Kimmer, welcome.
So good evening, everyone. An identified project this year for CDBG funding was $26,000 towards replacing the exterior doors at the senior center. We did put this out for bid. 3 bids were received. The bid sheet is there in your packet. The lowest bidder was FBH Architectural Security at $21,545.21. And I'm asking for your approval tonight to move forward to award the bid to them, and then we will move forward with the Metropolitan Planning Commission to get the agreements in place and hopefully get the project done in the next couple of months.
Very good.
Make a motion.
Motion by White, supported by Fike.
I just have,
Oh, you had a question? I'm sorry, Trustee Fike. Or Trustee White? Excuse me.
there's roughly a $4,500 balance. Does that revert to the county if we don't spend it, or do we get it to use it?
The way I understand it, Trustee White, is that it reverts back to the county, goes into the pool, and then we could make requests at a later time for that money. But yes, that's what I understand.
Okay, having said that, motion by, excuse me.
I've got one.
Treasurer Yancho.
Which doors in particular are we replacing?
So all 7 exterior doors. There's the double. There's one double
Glass
door.
door in the
Yep,
front?
there's a double door. No, not the glass door in front. No, these are all metal exterior doors that I believe were built at the time that the senior center was built in the late 80s. So they're approaching 40 years old almost. So there's one double door exterior, and then there's also 5 on the building and 1 at the garage as well.
Does that signal into the office when some of those exterior doors are opened?
I don't believe there's a panic alarm on there. These are just lock systems on the doors.
I know some of them say, do not exit this door.
We could put signs up, yes.
I mean, I'm not sure
Yeah.
why, but
Yeah, no, in case of an emergency, use that door, but yes, we could put up signage saying it's not a regular door to be accessed.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, very good. Then a motion is in order on item 7A. Motion by Fike, supported by White. Very good. Let's see, supported by White. Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho.
yes.
Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Myself, yes, of course. The motion passes, 6-0, motion passes. Very good. Item 7B, the board will consider Resolution 25-15 to amend Resolution 23-29 for the Wishing Well Special Assessment District. Superintendent Lemata?
As we move forward with our Wishing Well Special Assessment District on the street repair, the initial resolution 2329 we anticipated that this was going to be a 2024 project and that the initial due date would have been due in February of 2025. What this resolution does is it amends that to show that not only did it come in for less money than we had anticipated in our initial resolution, but it had to get the due dates correct, that the due date for the first payment would be in February of 2026. So we'd ask that you would consider Resolution 2515 to amend that initial one so we get that right.
And if I recall, the amount is a significant one in terms of lower cost for the folks in the district?
Yeah, we were lowered the assessed amount down. I don't remember the original now, but it's $11,823 payable over 15 years. And part of it came it's about, 500 and some $1,000 less. 300,000 of that came from the participation of the road commission and the township, each doing the 150 because we can do 10% up to 150,000. So that is included in bringing it down. Plus, like I said, the bids came in slightly lower than what was anticipated.
Well, very good. Any questions, board members? Okay, if not, I need a motion by Hugo, supported by Yancho. Very good, on item 7B. Trustee Brown,
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho,
Yes.
Trustee Hugo,
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Fike,
Yes.
and myself, yes. 6-0, motion passes. Very good. Item 7C, the board will consider Resolution 25-16, authorizing the sale of bonds to finance the Wishing Well Special Assessment District street repairs. Superintendent Lemata.
So this resolution actually now moves it forward now that we've corrected the prior one to get the amounts and due date correct. This is actually authorizing us to move forward with the sale of the bonds. We're working with bond counsel again and municipal financial advisors, Benzinski and Company. We would anticipate that the bond sale would appear on August 13th. So we'll follow all of the normal routine of the dates and publish everything and when it's going to go. We've got to get our ratings call with Standard & Poor's, all of those things, but we will have actually hold the bond sale on August 13th and expect that the funds would be deposited around September 4th. So as you see, even though the project's been started for quite some time, we get billed by 50% of the total project costs when they start the project, but we're going to close out and get the bonds not until September 4th, even by moving forward as early as this date.
Very good. Any questions from board members?
Yep.
Trustee Brown.
What's the interest rate on the bond?
Don't know until the bond goes out for sale.
Okay.
If there are no other questions, then I need a motion on item 7C. Motion by Fike. And I will, Treasurer Yancho will support. Okay, record roll call, myself, yes. Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Trustee Hugo?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
Trustee Fike?
Yes.
6-0, motion passes. Very good. Item 7D, the board will consider Resolution 25-17 to authorize the notice of intent to issue up to $11 million in capital improvement bonds to finance capital projects for water and sewer projects. Superintendent Lemata.
So this resolution before you authorizes the notice of intent to be published. What it does is we look at all the capital improvement projects that the Department of Public Works has before them that could occur over the next couple of years, and looked at all of those and said that's a considerable amount. We can't pay cash for them. We're going to have to bond them. And anytime you're doing capital project bonds, you have to do a notice of intent. What that allows is the residents of the township to request the right of referendum and put it on a ballot on whether you should move forward with these projects and to, because you're going to go into debt for $11 million to borrow these, or up to $11 million. We took all of the projects that are pending or what could be foreseeable, like I said, for the next couple of years, took all those projects and put our best engineers' estimates of what those could possibly be. We have that up to $11 million. This also gives us the right to, once we publish, it's a 45-day right of referendum that the voters could ask you to put it on a ballot for consideration. So we do the notice of intent. The 45 days starts once we get it published. After the 45 days, then we have the right to go out and again, issue a bond sale to finance some of these projects as we move forward. This also gives us the opportunity to pay ourselves back because we're putting the notice out there that if we were to start moving forward on some projects earlier and we need to get, we can recapture some of those funds once we do get to the bond sale. And it's a variety of projects, and you see that when you look in there, and Dickinson Wright attorney Roger Sweats, who's bond counsel for us, who wrote it up, talks about the type of projects that could occur without limitations, but we tried to be as specific as possible. Water mains, replacing existing water mains, installing new water mains, looping mains, replacement of water meters, installation of the new meters, meter pits, the pump stations, a variety of these projects, sewer upgrades. We included the tech village because that is potentially moving forward within the next 2 years for those water and sewer main projects. So you try to be as specific as possible to show if somebody wants to know how we came up with the $11 million, we can give you that complete breakdown of what those projects were and what the anticipated costs are. Of course, you don't know till you go out for bid. Things can change over the course of a couple of years, but this would not allow us to borrow more than $11 million based upon the notice of intent that we published.
Very good. Are there any questions from board members? Okay, very good. Then on item 7D, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Hugo, supported by White. On item 7D. Trustee Fike?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Trustee Hugo?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
6-0, motion passes. Very good. Item 8, future agenda items. This is the point at which Supervisor Bennett usually brings up future agenda items. I do not have any future agenda items to raise. Superintendent Lima, do you have anything you wish to bring up under future agenda items?
I mentioned earlier, there will be one more of the goals from the strategic plan from your session, your work session. That will be the final capture of those 4 goals and what the key objectives and strategies are behind it. From there, we'll start on a different review as we start making progress on all of those moving forward. So that would complete, I guess, the 4 goals that are designed for the 2025 to 2028 strategic plan.
Very good. Thank you. Board reports. Do we have anything from the Planning Commission? Trustee Hugo.
Our next meeting has been rescheduled. It will be on July 17th.
Scheduled July 17th, no doubt due to the holiday, I should think.
Holiday, and there was a conflict, I think.
July 17th? 17, very good. Trustee White, anything from the Zoning Board of Appeals? No. Trustee Fike from the Metro Alliance?
I think we have something to, let's see, it's Thursday? It's Thursday.
Say again?
There's a meeting on Thursday.
Meeting on Thursday.
But I have a question. Is this the time to raise that?
If you wish.
I was not here for the chicken discussion. Are we prepared at all to discuss this?
We discussed it at some, we had testimony from folks on public comments. Treasurer Yancho offered some expert comments of his own at Supervisor Bennett's request. I believe Superintendent Lima may have something further to add on this subject, and would you care to do so now?
Sure, be happy to. I just want to point out to a lot of folks that this isn't the first time that we've talked about the ordinance for chickens in Grand Blanc Township. I've been here for 10 years. I've talked about it every 2 years, I think, on average. It comes up, somebody asks about chickens, it goes through the thing. It was a big topic of conversation during the master plan. Chickens, much like our RV parking and driveway ordinance, is very divided. It's 50-50. 50% of the people want to support chickens, 50% of the people don't want chickens in their neighborhood or in their backyard. So it's one of those things that's somewhat of a controversial subject. But it's not like this board hasn't addressed it or the township hasn't addressed it. In fact, we've looked at it multiple times. I'm saying at least 5 times since I've been here at length. It was discussed at length during the master plan process. We had over 700 and some comments for recorded comments of people who attended the master plan sessions to talk about it when we went through our zoning ordinance and amendments at that time. So it wasn't moved forward as something that needed to be adjusted, and this was only adopted back in 2021, the master plan update. So it's not like it was that long ago that it had been dissected and reviewed. That having been said, based upon the recent discussions about chickens, there has been talk about should it move back. So we have instructed the Planning and Zoning Administrator, Jeremy Smith, to bring it back to the Planning Commission, so the Planning Commission will take a review. There appears to be a feeling that the 10 acres is restrictive or too restrictive when you compare it to local, other local municipalities around us. 10 acres is a lot. But what's the right number? Is there a sliding scale like some of them do? So we've asked him to bring it up as a topic for the Planning Commission. We've also asked them to expedite it. So we'd like to move this forward within, say, 60 days of review, make a decision or make a recommendation and provide that to the board for your review and recommendation. In the meantime, there was a code enforcement case, and they do have not quite 10 acres or something, and so they have a code enforcement case. I asked Jeremy to let them know that we would hold that code enforcement issue in abeyance for the short term, for 60 days. They shouldn't probably run out and buy more chickens. We don't know where it's going to end up. It may very well stay at 10 acres. I don't know where the Planning Commission's recommendation will be, and I certainly don't know where the board's recommendation will land, but I wouldn't base chickens or buy chickens based on the idea that we're reviewing it or taking a look at it again. But I think it is promising that we've heard from the folks. We're trying to be responsive. We'll hold that code enforcement case in abeyance. We're not going to take them to court on their chickens. But the ones that have already been issued out there. But I think that there may be some room in there. Maybe it's 5 acres, maybe it's 2.5 acres, maybe there's some sort of a sliding scale like some of them do. If you have 3 to 5 acres, you can have 4 chickens. If you have 5 to 7.5 acres, you can have 8 chickens. They're all over the place when you try to look at every municipality. Some, you can get in Ann Arbor and you can have a small city lot. It's 50 by 75 and you can have chickens. We found that Grand Blanc Township, when we discussed this issue before, there are a lot of people who will come out and tell you they do not want chickens in their neighborhood. They don't want subdivision chickens. They don't want it in the small lots. So we've got to be fair to everybody. You got to protect the integrity of those residential areas from the folks. So again, this is one that's divided, and you guys are going to have to make a decision somewhere. What's the right acreage? What's the right size? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't want my neighbors to have chickens. I live in a neighborhood too, and I'm surrounded by houses, and I'd rather not have chickens back there. But I've also lived next to a horse farm that had a ton of chickens, which were always walking around in my front yard, and it wasn't, that big of a deal other than drove my dogs crazy. I understand that, there's arguments on both sides. Let the Planning Commission do its work. They'll hear from people. They'll post those meetings. They'll encourage the input. They'll make a decision based on what they hear and what they review, and they'll make their recommendation to this board. And again, if we expedite it and have an answer back within, 60 days, I think that's fair.
Trustee Fike.
Sorry to belabor this, especially since I wasn't here during that, but we have a farmer on our board. I did not hear your comments. Can you briefly explain your feeling on this?
I would ask that you go to the tape
Yep.
and review the video, but briefly I addressed some of the things that one of the residents had brought up about sustainability, ticks, predation by chickens, predators in the neighborhood. I think there was one other point that I,
Mosquitoes.
Composting or the need there?
composting and fertilizer, using fresh manure on a garden, a vegetable garden, and that manure needed to be composted before it was used in that manner for health reasons. So,
You had concerns.
yeah, for certain size lots, yes.
Okay. Again, it's, I wasn't here, so I
don't
just kind of wanted a little bit of a refreshment.
Take reassurance, Trustee Fike, from the fact that the conversation will continue at the
Yes.
planning commission level.
Yes, as we heard.
I think they'll address a lot of the issues, Trustee Fike, like, they have to be kept in a chicken coop, and it has to be so many feet setback from property lines. There's ways that they can certainly control and address a lot of the issues or concerns, if they decide to move in that direction. And is 10 acres too much? It certainly would appear that it's much higher than any of our surrounding municipalities, quite frankly. If you're going to allow chickens and then start thinking about the lot sizes that we have in Grand Blanc Township, there's not a lot of 10-acre lots. So, again, I don't know what the right number is. I'll trust that the wise folks that we've appointed to the Planning Commission to be able to help answer that question.
Thank you.
Excellent, very good. Okay, so once again, on board reports, anything from the police committee? I don't hear anything.
Haven't met.
Okay, haven't met, okay. From yourself, Treasurer Yancho, anything to report?
The summer tax bills have been printed, and they will be mailing them out very soon.
Those two bills. Out soon. Okay, out soon. Okay, I have nothing from the clerk's office. Let's see, Superintendent Lemata, do you have anything further?
No.
Any issue? No, sir, okay. Very good. Then, I believe it's time to ask for a motion to adjourn. Can I get that motion by Fike? Supported by Yancho. We are adjourned at 6:32 PM.